Hello, Mike. How are you, my friend?
Oh, hello, Jeremy.
It,
I'm doing well today. It's Friday, so I can't complain.
we are recording on a Friday morning. Uh, you had a nice shoulder shimmy going on. We just jumped into it. Uh, Mike, I have the pleasure of knowing who you are. Why don't you tell me? Why don't you tell our audience? Who am I speaking with right now? Who are you?
Who am I? I'm Mike Hauptman. I am the founder of AdLib. I am a dad. I am a husband. I've been in the ad tech business since about 2006 and was a longtime MediaMather. At this point, overseeing a company that's about 20 people uh,
It's amazing.
deep,
AdLib is 20 people now.
20 people deep, and so I'm excited about the future of what we're working on, what's possible for our team, and the state of the environment and technology, which feels like we're on the cusp of, or we're in the middle of this just massive fundamental change and evolution that I'm excited to embrace and see where it goes.
You're excited to embrace it. You're excited to see where it goes. Why don't you tell us, just for those that aren't as deep in the advertising ad tech world that you are, and that one of my hats that I wear, tell us, what is AdLib?
Sure.
What are you building?
We're building the best way for independent agencies and brands to tap into and to execute campaigns across the entire programmatic ecosystem. For too long, access has been fragmented, challenging, restrictive, and agencies and brands have been using tools that we believe have room for improvement, or some of the tools leave a lot to be desired as they are today. So we built AdLib as a streamlined, single interface, single UI workflow API that sits on top of 100% of the programmatic ecosystem, all the top DSPs, all the top retail media networks, all the top SSPs, and buying platforms that they have, without having to go create those commercial relationships with each of those partners, and without having to have a team. Importantly, the resources uh, that you would require, the specialized resources for each platform. So just your single launch pad for the entire programmatic world.
That's awesome. That's a lot, but to have a single launch pad, and knowing that you've been building this for a bit, why don't you tell us just a little bit about your journey? Because I think that's going to help parlay into the culture, mentorship, the hybrid workforce, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. So Dan Bogart and I, Dan's co-founder, we've worked together since 2006. We were at a company called Mediaplex, one of the original third-party ad servers. We worked there for a few years together, and then I joined MediaMath back in 2010. Was one of the first 100 employees there, and over the first few months or even over the first year, was helping to launch the office in Europe. So the first office over in the United Kingdom. And after being there for a few months, you needed somebody to kind of fill in the role like full time, which was this solutions engineering type role. This role that was really helping close some of the more sophisticated opportunities. And I knew just the right person, who was Dan, and talked to him. He joined the company, and our relationship just blossomed from there. We always were tinkering together. We were working on a lot of similar projects. And while we were there, we saw this challenge where most marketers needed some kind of customization of the platform, not only in AdLib, but throughout the space. And we thought we could build an easier to access, easier to use version of MediaMath, or an easier to access, easier to use version of a high quality premium DSP. And we set out on that journey. And that was quite a long time ago. And the platform's evolved now to being more than just an easy to access, easy to use version of MediaMath. But we didn't really just kind of meandered there. Like, we took a little bit of the long road, and it's our first time building a company. We didn't have any funding. We totally
What year was that?
bootstrapped.
When did you start?
So we incorporated the business in 2014, and we had several different iterations of AdLib. Like the first version was an app that allowed you to target your friends with messages across the open internet in places where they would normally see ads. And we thought that was an interesting thing to build, but we didn't really have the business behind it. So it was spent a few years going in that direction, and eventually started seeing what was happening in influencer marketing, opportunities to work with influencer agencies to help them amplify their content beyond social garden, wall gardens, and get more value out of that content.
Sure.
Which had some fits and starts, but eventually we opened it up to everybody and built up a nice little business up until 2023 when MediaMath stopped running. And we had to quickly evolve and shift gears. And since then, we've connected the platform with 20 plus different platforms and can run YouTube campaigns, can run Netflix. We're running more audio. So everything has evolved. The offering has gotten more solid. The company has gotten more growth for 20 people. We were 3 people in 2023 when MediaMath went down. So just been figuring all this out kind of along the way, and we're remote. Dan's in London. The whole team is remote. So we don't have a headquarters. We're got 2 people in New York, a bunch of people in London, people spread throughout the US and the rest of Europe and South America. So for us, my focus now is how do I make sure that everybody is aligned on the mission, make sure that everybody feels like they have the resources they need to grow, as humans, as individuals, to grow their careers in this new dynamic, right? In this new remote first world. Because we're not the only ones that are doing it. Everybody's doing some version of, return to office, and trying to do best by the group and best by the company in this new reality.
How has your leadership style evolved as the company has grown from going from a few people? When we first met a couple of years back, there were 4 or 5 people, and now you've got 20. You mentioned at least 3 different continents and numerous countries in the past couple minutes. Just you as a CEO, you as a founder, you as someone who cares about people. Tell us a little bit about how your style has changed as you recruit, you develop, and you want your people to grow and ascend and to blossom, so to speak.
So, a couple of things. One, it's all about the people at this stage. We want to create an environment where people are working with the best of the best, the most motivated, the most intelligent, the most curious, the people that are going to fit in with who we are. And it's not for everybody. We don't work with a ton of process at this stage. We're figuring it out. We're moving forward. We're moving fast, and we're making mistakes. And we're really having to make sure that we're vetting for that, and we're aligned, and everybody's on the same page as that when we're hiring. And that means culture fit, but that also means throughput and quality of work. So if everybody is working, if A+ players don't like to work with mediocre players, and mediocre players don't like to work with A+ players. It's just not. They don't have the same motivations. They don't have the same mix. So we're really focusing on people right now and making sure that everybody is going to fit into the culture. And we're not working 80 hours a week, 60 hours a week. It's autonomy. It's being proactive. It's getting things done and having holding yourself accountable, holding others accountable in ways that people who are used to working at larger organizations may not have experienced in the past. And I'm trying to create the environment where there's trust in these people, and it's not micromanaging, and it's not a million one-on-ones and reviews and kind of going through all the just the stuff just to do the stuff. It's really like trying to hire people that we know can deliver, hire people that we know can be trusted to deliver, And when you have that environment, it's an exciting place to be. But the challenge that we have right now is everybody's remote. So there's no, let's go grab coffee. There's no, let's go to lunch together. There's no popping in. And like, I remember that from my career. Like, everybody was in the office 5 days a week. You were having organic conversations with everybody. The CEO and the COO's office were open, and my Slack is open, and people have my number and can call me. But there's just something more natural about walking by and being next to somebody when you're having coffee and talking and going to happy hour. And like that's missing, and that's what I'm trying to figure out how to kind of recreate that, how to make sure culture is there. Once they're in here, how do everybody feel like we're on the same mission? We're as close as physically as we don't feel that physical distance as much.
Sure.
Because there's other closeness happening.
So how do you identify and attract talent in these different markets while maintaining the consistency and the culture that you're building?
Try to share more about who we are, our story, and find like-minded people who want to join the cause. Our head of growth, Heath, reached out to me after hearing a podcast I did. It was Marketecture or EdTech guy, but he said, heard your story.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah. Heard your story, heard the vision. It's really interesting. I want to learn more about it. And we met for coffee. And by the end of that conversation, we realized that we should be figuring out if there's a role at AdLib to work together. So I'm trying to build an organization where I would want to work and just be a group of nice people who are motivated and making sure that people feel like they have the tools that they need to work. And that's literally like the best computer, monitors, just things like that. I send them like everybody gets a nice pair of AirPods when they become an employee because it's a nice thing to do. It's a couple $100 and it makes communication just way easier because the new AirPods are amazing with their noise canceling. So there's real business benefits, but these little things I feel like go a long way. And we're really I'm always looking for new benefits to put in front of the company. So we offer co-working space. So even though we don't have an office, everybody has, WeWork or an Industrious membership that's relevant to their city. Gym memberships and premium gym memberships, because we want people to feel like they have, that's not a burden and they can go work out. And I know how important that's been to me over the past couple of years in terms of mental health and physical health.
Totally.
And want to make sure that the team has that there's no blockers there. All the other stuff, we just try to make sure people feel like they're in a place that cares about them and cares about their well-being, and just a group of people that are, supportive and trusting.
Well, and right there, you have gifted and granted your team access to OhHello specifically, where they're able to meet mentors, experts, subject matter, going back to experts, just throughout the world and available at their fingertips too, to be able to just have trusting, open, vulnerable conversations. That says a tremendous, tremendous amount about the kind of leader that you are, being able to say like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to be able to be there. And my top two people aren't necessarily going to be able to be there like you would have if you were all in an office. So you're basically saying these people have been vetted. These are subject matter experts that can help, and also having that external guidance. It's important. No one wants to feel limited or encumbered. And one of the top ways to build culture, trust. And it sounds like that's something that you're doing. How do you ensure vulnerability and openness across a diverse team across multiple time zones?
It's hard, man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we're trying to make sure that people know that like, we're here, we're available, we're expecting to be pulled into challenges and conversations, and we want to help, and that it's never going to be a situation where there's frustration because of a challenge. It's all like, great, thank you for bringing this to me, and this camaraderie, and the, the that is the trust is when the issues are not raised, and like the things are just kind of being hidden, and
Right.
we try to create the environment where it's that you can tell me anything, right? And like not to go back to parenting, but a little bit of parenting advice there, right? Just being open, knowing that no matter what the issue is, we're all on the same team, we're all pulling in the same boat.
Totally.
Will help each other figure out how to get out of this, or how to move forward, or how to how to get out of this situation.
I love that. So let's use the rowing a boat going in the same direction. Let's use that metaphor specifically. When you think about where AdLib is going and the waves, the water movement taking place, and the direction that the boat is going, how are you preparing your team and AdLib specifically for the next phase of growth, and yet staying agile and being adaptive as the founder and CEO?
Trying to see if I can pull a boat metaphor in there, but it's not coming too quickly
Need an
to
analogy.
me.
Use an analogy. We can take time. Use any kind of metaphor.
Yeah, I mean,
You're the captain of your ship. How are you?
Just trying to be real and present, and like in the trenches, like
It's important.
involved. This is not something that the team ever goes through alone. These challenges are not things we're expecting team to go through alone. So I think being on the front lines, being actively involved, being transparent about how I feel about things, whether
How
that's
do you do that?
good or
How do you showcase your transparency of how you feel? Do you do it through in an all hands via Zoom, via Google Meets, in via Slack, in person quarterly? Tell us a little bit more, because you guys have some awesome growth.
All of it, right? So I'm pretty candid on our all hands and in our client operations, and I'll be vocal about things that I'm seeing, and just I'll have questions, but I'm also like calling out exciting updates and congratulating, and also reaching out when sad things happen. As the organization gets bigger, shit happens in people's lives, and I'm just trying to make sure that they know that this is an organization that, again, cares about them, and someone here is thinking about them, because we are, and it's I think that goes a lot. I think that just goes a long way.
You had mentioned the fatherly or paternal advice and guidance. I think it's really sound and important that you just brought up the fact that you reach out when sad things happen, when it's not all about celebrating. It's wonderful to celebrate the victories, the wins, but in reality, sad things happen, whether it's people's personal lives, if there are sickness, death, that's part of life, and recognizing that the people on your team, through thick and thin, that they are working with a leader that gives a damn. That's important. I'm really happy that you mentioned that. It says a lot about, a lot of people skip over that. What are some of the best pieces of advice that you've received from mentors over the years, and who are some mentors that have been meaningful to you?
Oh man,
Putting you on the spot, my friend.
Yeah. So I get my work ethic from my dad, right? He had me in, he was always lining up random jobs for me growing up in my teenage years and letting me know where I was expected to show up when to do this job. So I was there, and then I was always working, and I was always figuring it out. And he went through in his career a lot of challenges with cycles of industry, and always kept his chin up and was always like thinking about the next thing and really, okay, this happened. It's not the end. It's an interruption. And now your job is to figure out what's next and how to move forward. And, I get all that from him. Lucky enough to work with some amazing people at MediaMath and even prior to that at Mediaplex that helped me, make sure that I was maximizing my potential at those organizations, and really just made themselves available for everything from, again, personal things that were going on in life, and was able to really be myself and open and sad and happy in front of them and have that be reciprocated. But then also like trust and opportunity given to me that changed the course of my, career and life. So, forever grateful to those people for all of that.
When you look back over the past 20-ish years or so of your career, what are the hardest lessons that you've learned, or the perseverance that you've picked up on as you have been part of startups that were successful and then decided to build your own startup and have made pivots along the way?
You can't trust everyone. Or actually, it's really hard to not trust people. So
I like that.
I did a LinkedIn post about this. It's DMX. Trust people to be themselves. Trust a liar to be a liar. Trust a thief to be a thief. And trust people to be who you see them, and trust that you see them well. That's way easier than not trusting somebody, because you're not trying to stay ahead of them. You're not trying to stay ahead of the game. You're not trying to, counterattack it. You're just trusting that you understand exactly what you're dealing with is going to have a way better outcome than distrust.
Axe is going to give it to you. Thank you for sharing that about your father a few minutes ago, and his memory, but also in addition, to add a little levity, thank you for the DMX reference. I think our audience will appreciate that. Any other parting words of wisdom or advice just for the younger leaders that are watching, that are listening, that want to take a swing but might not be there quite yet?
Just do it. Just go for it, man. Like there's never going to be a better time. There's never going to be less to do. There's never going to be, the only thing that there will be is, more of is, there'll be more regret, and there'll be that just doubt. So like, I think that's toxic, and that's the stuff that really kills you. Trying will not kill you. But the regret can be like super toxic. So if you're thinking about trying something, just try it. Like just go for it. Spend some time, spend some hours. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to have spent time, and maybe at the end, and you don't have that doubt or that unknown.
So well said. That was excellent parting advice. Mike, thank you, Mr. Hauptman. This has been an awesome conversation. We appreciate you and your team being on the OhHello platform, and also the partnership that you and I have on the Marketecture Media side as well. So, big fan of everything that you're building. You're making it really easy for brands and agencies to get their ads seen across the global net through any and every platform. And we appreciate what you do. So kudos on the success that you're having and you're going to continue to have just for keeping it real and being real. So you are a very egoless person. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted you to jump on. So thank you, Mike. Appreciate it, everybody. Until the next one.